All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Courtney. What's up?
What's up?
All right, so we're getting into more Garage Gym Athlete problems, solving your problems one episode at a time. And so this is one that's very, very common. To be honest, of all the problems that have been submitted for this kind of segment from our athletes, it's come up more than once. And that is overhead height restrictions, like having a low ceiling. And I know this has happened to me. I've had a lot of different garage gyms over the years. So I've had a basement and garage gym at one house. Both of those were fine. But I've had two different houses in Texas that did have a more limited like ceiling height and to where it's an actual problem. And my solution in the first house I lived in Texas was don't train in the garage. And so I literally had this like 15-foot rig that I bolted into the cement pad in my backyard. And so I just trained almost exclusively outside. I'm not saying that's your solution, but I even run into that now. So my current house has lower ceilings. It's not like impossibly low ceilings, but it is a problem when pressing overhead or trying to do jump rope and other things. And I know Joe's experience, so I'll let you kick it off, man. What do we do? What do athletes do when they have this overhead height restriction?
Get a good mat, maybe some towels, and do your presses and stuff from your knees. It's basically the main suggestion for that. I know it can be a little bit awkward too, especially if you need to like rack it up if you don't have a rack. Oh, well, I was in a situation once where working out in a city in the basement and there was no rack. I just had to pull it from the ground. So I'm like on my knees, cleaning the weight to my shoulders and then pressing from overhead. But that's just kind of what you got to do. Or do something, or just do like a seated, if you can get like a little low box or some like maybe your plyo box to sit on, and it'll just, your overall press weight might be a little bit lower, but as long as if you're working out there for a while, then that's going to be that's going to be your baseline anyway. So just worry about whatever your own situation is. And if there's any sort of like, you can still kind of do push presses from the kneeling position. That's about it. You can give a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of power there, but not a whole lot. But yeah, knees, kneeling for presses or on a short seat. And then also like single arm press, if you don't want to kneel or you can kneel, you can also do landmines. Landmines can go overhead and just stick it in a corner, stick your barbell in a corner. And that worked out pretty well. I did those a decent amount.
Nobody puts barbell in a corner.
Unless you do landmines. You put that on a shirt.
All right. Yeah, those are all good things. I would say, so this one isn't necessarily a lack of equipment thing. So sometimes I'm just going to tell you to go buy more equipment. So go buy an outdoor rig. Go buy a different house. No, go buy an outdoor rig and cement it in your concrete pad. No, I think military press is where I would go here. Because to be honest, I haven't put up with this problem. Like if I have the problem, I just go outside. Like that's what I do. And so I really think that this is more of like a basement athlete problem to where you can't like run out of the basement, with a barbell to go to your presses outside and then come back. And it's just like too time consuming because I just open my garage and then I step outside, I do my presses and then I come back inside if I need to. But I think military press, so like a seated press, so long as you have a bench, you could even buy a military press like bench. So like a one with a back. It's not my favorite lift in the world because you're not going to engage your core as much. So if you're doing seated without the backrest though, you're still going to engage your core more so than that, than if you're to be doing military press with like a back to the seat. And then you can also just do bench press. Like let's get super simple here on the reason we program strict press so much is one, it's safer than bench press because people die every year bench pressing in their garage. And so strict press is safer and it's also a bit more functional because if you're doing strict press correctly, you should be engaging your core. There's a lot of stabilization going on and pressing overhead. And there's not as much with that with bench press. And bench press can get really weird. But if you have the option to bench press and you're willing to do it in a safe way, and you have either spotter or spotter arms in place to where you can't die doing it, then why not bench press? Like, bench press is a great option. It's not working the exact same muscle groups and everything, but you're still getting a press motion, which is great. And this specific question was like overhead height restriction. And so, it's really things that are going overhead. So we're trying to eliminate the overhead and to some degree. I think everything Joe said is a perfect option as well, going on the knees, seated, and then going outside are kind of your options. And I also think if you kind of run into this issue, another thing that you can do is, like, if we were to program barbell strict press, like, go single arm with dumbbells if you have it, or kettlebell, and seated, because I just feel like when you sit down, you're going to lose some of that stability, like you're on your ass. So, like, you're just not having to stabilize as much. But I think if you bring a kettlebell back to that exercise, or a dumbbell, and now you're single arm, you bring some stability back to having to manage that weight when you go to single arm. So if you are like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to sit down for my presses now, but you don't have a way to get the barbell there easily, like Joe's saying, or whatever, let's go single arm with a dumbbell or a kettlebell, get some of that stabilization and engagement, and you're still getting a pressing movement. I think those are kind of the options. And then my favorite option is make sure the plates fit between the rafters. You just got to find the perfect spot where the plates are fitting right in between those rafters, and you're not gonna, jack into them. And I have done that, and it is the most disruptive thing that can, like, ever happen in a lift. And it's happened to me, like, on back squat before too, but, like, on the, obviously not the ceiling, but, like, have you ever been back squatting and the weight, like, accidentally hit, like, the spotter arm or something?
I'm not, actually.
So I've had that happen, and then there's, like, this jolt. Right now the weight is off balance, and it's not an easy thing to correct. You're like, and then you have to get back up. And I've done the same thing with pressing overhead, and you, like, jam it into a rafter, like, on one side, and then it's like, anyway, it is very disruptive. So I get it. Huge problem. A lot of athletes are facing it, and we give you about every option you got there. Is there anything else you can think of?
The next would be when we do power or any kind of jumping can be tricky as well. I'd say it also depends on the workout, but yeah, first option, go outside, go somewhere where you can jump. But if there's, for some reason,
we're assuming they can't, right? We have to make that assumption here, because if we say go outside and this person was like, oh, damn it, I didn't think about that one. Brilliant. Then, but yeah, go outside is definitely your top option here.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know if you would, like, stand at the bottom of your stairs and jump up the stairs.
Oh, like for basement athletes, yeah,
that could be fun. But also, you can do hip bridges, some plate jumps. If you can do plate jumps, that is definitely a great one.
Plate jumps are, like, invented for the basement athlete who can't jump.
Yeah, so you better get good at plate jumps or being able to do them.
Yeah, or you won't do well at Fit Week.
Yeah. And then typically a lot of the power stuff we do is very glute and hip dominant. So I would also look into getting some sort of band anchor to the ground and put your hips under the band so that you can explosively go up. So it's not with a weight. You can do it with a weight, but I think with the band, you can really work on that power as well.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Like, being able to do hip thrusts, something like that. Jumping lunges, because jumping lunges, you don't typically have to jump super high to be able to do a jumping lunge. It's just kind of switching of the legs, and you still get a lot of explosiveness there. Tuck jumps are another option. One thing that I hate, and I can't do it in my garage. I've had several garages this way. I can't do double unders. I don't know what the clearance of my rope is, but I mean, it's got to add, like, at least 2 feet above my head, right? And so, more than that, you think? Yeah. And so you need a pretty high garage to be able to do jump rope. And so that's the one that mainly frustrates me. I can normally always find a way with, like, pressing and everything. It's like, because in my situation now, it'd be more like, it's too cold, I don't want to go outside. Like, that's very rare. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to go jump rope outside or leave the garage open and let it get cold just for jump rope outside. I had to. So, but that's the only other option you got there, is going outside or doing, like, jumping lunges if we're getting to, like, those kind of things. But yeah, That's it. That's all I got. And so buy a new house, build a rig outside, go outside, or any of the other things that we mentioned in order of our preference. Yeah. All right, cool. We'll get out of here. Solving garage gym athlete problems one at a time, one episode at a time. If you guys have any of these, go ahead and submit them to us. You can do it in the Facebook group. If you're one of our athletes and a part of that group, go ahead and let us know what your problem is. And if you want to hit us up on our support channels, you can go to garagegymathlete.com, hit that little chat bubble, and just let us know, and we can make it an episode. But thank you so much for watching or listening.